So today has been a really weird day. It's been one of those type of getting lost down a rabbit hole kind of days that Chris and I were recently just talking about on another video, and it happened today. It started with a thread in our Discord channel really talking about the Quartering's response to Cleanprincegaming's accusation, so to say, that he is responsible for getting blamed or getting blacklisted by EA. So it started with that. I went and watched his video. Actually, I found some of the points he was making really quite interesting and spot on, especially when it comes to the concept of game reviews and essentially even getting a free game or getting an early access game. Doesn't that also kind of help, put you in a positive favor? Doesn't that, as a YouTuber, compromise some kind of integrity that you might have or present to have, etc.? So honestly, it was a really interesting video. Regardless of what you think or don't think about him, I would recommend you check it out. He makes some interesting points, and maybe there's some discussion to have there. But obviously then, as the rabbit hole continues, this drove me into Cleanprincegaming, who is somebody who, I guess always the joke that we have is, it was murdered. Tends to come up in any kind of conversation that kind of surrounds any of his videos that we've seen. So I've seen a handful of his videos, and I went and watched this video in which he pretty much for 20 minutes talks about how he's been blacklisted from EA. And it's a long story of a journey of discovery of this young man fighting against the oppressive and just evil corporation EA. And I know just by saying that phrase, literally people are going to be thinking like this is me coming to the defense of EA. Far from it. In fact, actually seeing his whole video, watching the whole thing, something else was brought to mind. Obviously, he was mentioning SkillUp in his video, and I remembered that SkillUp said this.
This video is not sponsored by EA Game Changers. EA has blacklisted me.
And at the time when I saw this video, I did recommend it as a part of my should you get into Anthem. Just here's a really, I thought, well-balanced look at both sides, because essentially you don't know how it's going to be until it exists, right? Games as a service, there are a risk for when you start on day one versus if you start on day 100. It's going to, there's all kinds of mathematics, there's all kinds of business, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on in those in that theory, and that's not what this is about. All of a sudden, I kept getting the sneaking suspicion, and maybe this is just me connecting dots that don't exist. Maybe this is my descent into madness as I descend down the rabbit hole of thought. And it's that, is being blacklisted by EA the new form of gamer cred? Because if so, then I've been blacklisted by them all. I'm really serious at the point though, because it's that why, obviously make this video besides the views. I mean, at the end of the day, every time anybody accuses anybody who puts anything on YouTube, like, oh, you're just doing it for the views. Like, I don't know of any single person who puts out anything publicly in a public forum and hopes to God that nobody sees it, right? Like, oh, of course I'm excited that people are watching the video. What did you think of it? Rather than just being short and judgmental to the point. All opinions welcome here, but then essentially between the Quartering, between Cleanprincegaming, and then between SkillUp, obviously there seems to be some weird pattern. These are loosely connected. Cleanprince is saying that he has a relationship or has many conversations with SkillUp. I don't know any of this. I don't know any of these three. I'm not necessarily here to throw shade, but my initial gut response and reaction to Cleanprince is something that I tend to try not to let this side show. So I do apologize for those who know me and like to think that I'm positive, but my honest and truthful response to Cleanprince is literally grow up, dude. Like, at the end of the day, it sounds like you're bragging. It sounds like this is a weird flex that you're trying to like give yourself even more credit and blow yourself up even more and just puff out your chest. Look how truthful you are. Look how honest you are. Look how brutally, standing up against the men you are. But then yet at the same time, you look at and brag then in the same video about your relationship, your sponsored post about obviously being approached to say positive things about something that is sponsored, which is essentially the whole freaking point. If somebody's saying, hey, will you promote this in a positive light and I will pay you for it, and you say that, hey, this is sponsored, it helps people understand that this what you've produced at that time is an ad. And an early review copy, that's actually what I'm hoping this discussion can be about. Not about Cleanprince, and not about the quartering, and not about Skill Up, and not about being EA cred. I mean, I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions on that, because at the end of the day, what I'm seeing here is that it's the new street cred, if you will, when it comes to being a gamer on a platform like YouTube. Oh my gosh, I got blacklisted. Like, everybody in the right mind, especially for the game as a service game, just go out and buy the daggum game, you know? And that's one of the points that the quartering made. I really agreed with it. Just go and buy the game. And this is where it gets murky. This is where the gray territory comes in, because honestly, there is a sense of, I guess, validation that you get when you are coming up on this platform and people are starting to watch your videos and people are starting to respond to your videos and your content. And all of a sudden people are like, hey, would you like to review this game early? Would you like to get a copy of it? And I think essentially, you know, there is obviously whether it's a conscious or an unconscious bias that then goes on. It's like, wow, I got this game. Well, instead of just ripping it to shreds, unless, you know, ripping to shreds is going to get you millions of views, instead of doing that, let me go ahead and just maybe, you know, put some kitty gloves on, or maybe, you know, throw a punch or two, you know, hold back and not give it my full weight. And at the end of the day, I think essentially the best way forward is for everybody who's obviously watching a review or playing a game to come up obviously with their own opinion. That's the goal, I think, is to try to educate people on what is interesting and what might be a challenge and what you particularly like about it. Because I think actually it's almost the goal of who the person seeking is to find reviewers that tend to line up with the content that they like. You might like the way I review games because you and I tend to actually really agree on a lot of things, because you've played the game and I've played the game and we've talked about it, and we might not be there 100%, but most likely, you know, if I go and review another game, there's a high probability that you might like that as well. And the way that happens is that if I've spent money on the game, it seems to make that more legitimate. I'm saying this is the only copy that we've received any compensation for, is that we bought one copy of Smash Brothers and we got another copy in which that we gave to Chris so that he could cover the game as well. And that kind of seems like a weird justification. I've even thought in my mind, in my own personal way, that even if I was to get a game for a review, that in my mind I would go ahead and just say, you know what, I went ahead and purchased the game and use that purchase of a game as a giveaway on the channel. That way I feel like I've at least put money in and I haven't been compromised. And that's where the grayness and the murkiness comes into play. And that's really where I want to have your feedback. I was asking this as a part of our Discord community, having that conversation, but that's where this whole rabbit hole really goes and ends up. And that's just where, when I'm sitting here watching this content and feeling literally frustrated at what I'm seeing and hearing, because to me, and this is my opinion, it just sounds like he's flexing and he's puffing out his chest because, oh my gosh, he got the world's most hated publisher to blacklist him from a game that comes out in a couple of days, that he can just, you know, as well spend the money. If he's hard pressed for the money, if he can't pick up this next game to review on his channel, maybe we can get together and do a GoFundMe. I'm joking. He could do it on his own if that's what it came down to. I don't think it matters so much, especially when I look at this guy's sub numbers. He's coming up on 600,000. He's clearly doing well for himself, or he's just murdering the competition. Couldn't resist that fun. And I just wonder, like, what was the purpose of this video? And the more I thought about it, the more I let it just percolate in my mind, the more I went down this rabbit hole. And again, I like Skill Up. I really enjoy his content. And you might not agree with me, and that's okay. You might not agree with, you know, the people that I'm referencing in this video. That's, you know, me referencing them is not me saying go watch their content or not, or blacklist them or whatever. Do whatever makes you happy. Do what, you know, obviously makes sense for you and your enjoyment on the day, because there's enough shade out there. And again, it's not who I want to be. But I just, oh my God, I just could not help myself. These people are driving me nuts. Clean Prince in this case, just driving me up the wall with his video. And I watched it, and then I watched it again. And, you know, as I'm kind of clipping this video to edit it, it's, oh God. Anyway, I'm going to keep trying to avoid his content. But you know how YouTube works. I think because I've watched one, at least it's going to keep coming back. So haunt me for many years. Who knows? I could be completely wrong about the dude. He could be, you know, in real life, the most stand-up person who continues to seem to walk into GameStops, despite, you know, having horrible experiences. But good luck to you, man. I wish you the best. So anyway, with that, that's really where the question I want to put out to you guys. That's really what I want to know. Your thoughts about it. Are game reviewers compromised? Like, is YouTube, obviously the old media ways are going away, but one of the things that I think would be interesting, you know, that we've always thought is how awesome would it be to get a game early. I'd even, you know, be happy to still purchase the game, but be able to just play it a little bit early so we can have thoughts and impressions ready to roll out. But then, you know, the quartering, he made that point where, like, honestly, if you do really good reviews and you really make that content well, it doesn't matter. People are going to wait for that. People are going to watch it anyway. It's not about being day one. It's about being, you know, having the right, you know, experience with it, being able to have thoroughly played the game. I think that's one of the things that we've lost over the last couple of years is, you know, especially with these RPGs and these bigger games, that there's so much stuff competing for our time and our attention. It's hard even for game reviewers to be able to get, you know, their teeth into these games. And so we've seen that, you know, over the past year with like IGN's plagiarism issue and all these different things where like they're just, okay, this is what they're not really reviews. They're more impressions. And the impression is essentially obviously kind of, here's my first take after, you know, maybe like 10 hours of this game. And then essentially a review is like, we've touched everything. How is this game months and months, you know, or like, you know, however it evolves. So at this point, guys, I think hopefully you get the gist. Hopefully the question that I'm asking makes sense, because I'm really interested in your feedback, you know, regarding that, because we like doing reviews. I like kind of putting out the parents' guides reviews. I like to obviously give my thoughts, and I really like engaging with you guys in the community, because one of the cool things is that you'll let me know whether I suck or I don't, and I hear both sides, and I appreciate both sides. So anyway, for Work To Game, my name's Brian. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do apologize if you were triggered in any which way. That was not my intention, but if you are, and we need to have a deeper conversation about any of these subjects or any of these individuals, you know, please make sure you hop into our Discord and chat me up, and let's have that conversation. But like I said, I'm Brian. You've been Work To Gamed. This is the Workforce signing off until next time. You guys take care and hope you have a phenomenal day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, it's me, Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you're new here, we hope you hit that subscribe button. Check us out. We talk a lot about video games, and we hope to at least hear from you in the comments below. We also try to respond to our comments. You know, we really appreciate the comments, the discussion, all the various points of view that everybody is so kindly, I guess, and politely or impolitely shares with us from time to time. So anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching this video. We hope you hit that like button. We hope you hit that subscribe button. Come back for more content each and every day. We post a lot around here, and we'd love to hear from you about what you like about video games and everything, and especially if you have any questions that you're stuck on in anything. So anyway, signing off. See you next time.